Hey everybody, here we are, first week of November, and still having really great weather. So I think it's going to change this week according to the forecast. It's going to start getting colder finally, which means we will need to start using our outdoor wood burner. We haven't used it yet this year, or this winter season, whatever you want to call it. The few nights that it's been a little chilly, we've been able to just plug in a portable electric heater in the room we're in and been fine. But now it's going to probably dip below freezing, maybe into the 20s, and that's where the fire will absolutely help us. So I wanted to make a quick little video here, not really about the stove, but I got some maintenance stuff I got to do, and I just thought I'd show you what it is we do to keep this thing in proper running order. So that's what we're going to do today. So we have what they call the Big Johnson stove. I believe it's a 500-gallon capacity. This is an outdoor wood burner. If you don't know what those are, later I'll probably make a video fully explaining how this works and how it heats our house. But it is outside. It's probably straight line, probably close to 400 or 500 feet from the boiler in the basement in the house. So it's a little ways away. And there's just some stuff we've been here. This will be the third winter we'll need to use it. We've used it 2 winters, and some of the maintenance was explained to me by the previous owner that I've Googled and figured some out on my own. So there's just a little bit of stuff I want to try and do this year before winter comes. One is I'd like to get a chimney on here. The previous owner told me it wasn't absolutely necessary because these don't really, it's just a big firebox and the smoke just comes out. But from what I've been reading, if I have a chimney, it'll help prevent wind from creating a draft over the top of that, and it will also help when we open the door for the smoke that comes out and chokes us. So anyhow, I've already started tearing this apart. This blower needs to be replaced right here. There's a blower down below by that metal box. And then up here, this is the actual control panel. This is the Aquastat. It's hard to read because the smoke blacks everything up. But that's where we set how hot we want the water. This switch turns the unit, the fans. Probably hear that click on and off. It turns the fans on and off, let it cycle. And then that's the temperature gauge. Kind of hard to read on here, but that's what the water temp would be at. This is the lever to open and close the bypass for the smoke. In theory, it's a little sticky because it hasn't been used since spring. In theory, that would help the smoke come out when we open the door. This is the inside of the firebox. Backside of the door here, as you can see, it's got a lot of creosote and stuff on it. That's normal for these kind of stoves. Like I said, it's not like your wood stove in your house. Creosote's not a threat or a danger. There's no chimney fire that could happen. Now, I should have cleaned this out when we finished last spring, and I didn't. I don't think it'll hurt the stove. I suppose if you did this every year, it might be. But so I got to clean all this ash out. And then in the door frame here, this is just all creosote. And I don't know if you can see up on top, these grates are water runs to those too to heat up. Got to scrape all the creosote off that. Then I'm going to replace the seal in the door. I already started peeling it here. I did that so I could see what size it was. It does not appear to be, or didn't appear to be bad. But it hasn't been done since we lived here, and we just wanted to make sure it was good coming in this winter. I'm trying to figure out, it doesn't seem like this unit's as efficient as it could be. They're not the most efficient type of burners, but ours seems to really go through the wood. So I'm doing these little things that you normally wouldn't have to do every year, just so that I know, we're good to go. This is the ash clean out, and there's a secondary blower behind there, so I'll clean all this up. And this is how you would clean the ash out while the fire is going. And then there's you can see it in there, there's a blower motor in there. And we'll take a look at replacing the seal on this door, possibly. Anyhow, I'll get all this cleaned up and then I'll show you guys what it looks like before I put the seals in. Okay, I got the old gasket out of the door, cleaned that all up real good. That's the new gasket there. I cut it, I already measured and cut it. Got this pretty much cleaned out, probably as good as I'm going to get it. All the ash is out, chipped a bunch of the creosote off that's on there. I went ahead and pulled this gasket out, and I'll replace that one too. I'll show you what that looks like after I get them put in. Hold on. I'm going to be using this, it's an RTV heat resistant. It says 260 degrees Celsius. If I remember right, it was like 500 degrees Fahrenheit or somewhere around there. Yeah, this is what I'm going to be using to, it's like a silicone caulk to put in the gap there, the door seal, to put the rope gasket in. Okay, there's the rope gasket all in place. What I did was ran a bead of silicone caulk inside the door frame and just pressed the rope into it. I forgot to take a video of that part of it, sorry. And then same with the lower door. This door, the seal probably could have used a smaller rope, but it'll compress and fit fine, so that's why that one looks a little puffy. All right, now to change the blower motor out. So I just went ahead and closed the doors up. Like I said, the bottom one's a little tight. That seal will work in eventually. The top one closed fine. I'll leave them like this for the silicone to set, at least 24 hours probably, and we'll be fine. Now we're gonna do this blower motor. All you gotta do is disconnect the wiring from that end of the motor there, and then pull, kind of hard to see here, but there's 3 bolts on the flange there. Take that off, and then hook the new one up, hook the wiring up, and then it plugs into that relay up top there, or solenoid, and it should be good to go. All right, so we've got the new gaskets put on. They've been sitting about a day. All looks good. They're sealed in there, not going nowhere. Inside's nice and cleaned out. Did the gasket on the bottom door here. Kind of hard for her to see, but anyhow, it's on there. Like I said, that one's a little tighter. Probably could have went with a smaller size, but it'll be fine. New motor put on, all wired up. Solenoid still works. It doesn't look that great, but it still works, so we're going to keep it on there until it goes out. So I just got to put a cover on here, and that'll be all buttoned up. And then up here, this is like I said, the on-off switch to power everything down if you got to, open the door and all that. Thermostat gauge. I put a new clear piece of tubing in there so that you can see the water level. You can't see anything in there right now because the water level is down. So I'll get that topped off, get this cover put on here, and it'll be ready to fire up. And looks like just in time, a couple of days here, we're going to start getting down in the 20s. So I'll get this all buttoned up and show you what it looks like. Okay, got everything all buttoned up. Got the cover back over the blower rung. Everything on this side of the furnace is good to go. So now we're going to add some water, and we do use a rust inhibitor to protect all the insides of the tank and the pipes. So I will add that also. And once I get that added, I'll show you where on here we read the level of the water on this little sight glass throughout the season. And since it's an open system, we always have to add water to it. Depends on, conditions, but maybe twice a month. It's not a big deal, but as I'm about to show you, getting to where you add the water is a big deal. So I'm gonna come around here. There's our goats over there. So the water for this is filled through the top. It's that little pipe. The big one is the chimney, which I'm going to get an extension put on this winter. Actually, hopefully here in the next couple days, 3 or 4 feet to get the chimney up. Previous owner said it wasn't necessary, but the more I've been reading and looking into this, I think it would help on 2 fronts for us, both on drafts, so we won't have as many drafts from the windy days unnecessarily burning the wood, and it will create a draft when we open the door to let the exhaust smoke come out. Right now, when we open the door to add more wood, we just get bombed with smoke. So what I have to do here is I got this little step ladder, and you come up with a hose in your hand, and then you have to stick it down into that little pipe right there and add water. Now you could just fill it till it overflows, but again, we have that chemical in there, and that's kind of a waste of that. So you have to come down and then you watch the sight glass and turn it off. I'm not going to film that process because I can't really do it all one-handed. This is the worst part to me about this stove. it's not convenient to do this. When there's snow and ice out here, it's even worse. I've got a few ideas of how I'm going to make like a wand that I can leave hanging up there and just attach the hose from down here, and then then I just walk around the corner to check the level. Anyhow, I'm going to get it filled up here, and then I'll show you everything and we'll get a fire started.
Just wanted to show you real quick. This is the chemical that we put into the boiler. Treats the water, helps prevent rust and corrosion on the inside of the boiler tank and the pipes. Anyhow, I just wanted to show you that. It is purple in color. This works great for us because then I'll show you here in just a second. Once you add it to it, when you go check the water level on the little sight glass, it'll be pink in color, and that's how you know you have enough additive in there. So you can see there, this is the sight glass. The sight glass where we check the water level, and that's about where we want it. It could be a little higher, but being that this is the first startup, like I said earlier, I like to wait to see how much the water expands so we don't have it boil over. But anyhow, you always want to have at least some water in that sight glass, and then see how it's got a pink tint. That lets me know that I've got enough of the additive in there to treat my system. There's the temperature gauge. Pretty hard to read, but I have it set at roughly, should be 170 to 180. It says it's 170 right now, so it's probably on the verge of kicking in the fans, and then it'll run the heat up to about 180, 185, shut the fans off, and then around here is where it kicks back in. So that's that. Now we've had a fire going overnight. Basically that's what it looks like in there. It's not a big raging fire. As it gets colder, I may build up more wood in there, but as I'm learning how this system works and everything, it doesn't have to be super full and packed full of wood and coals and everything. You want the surface area of the tank, because that whole liner is the tank, to be able to absorb all the heat. So now it's catching on fire because the door's open, it's getting hit with oxygen, but as I close these doors, all that will choke back down and it'll just sit there as coals, and it only flares up when it needs to generate heat, and it'll turn the fans on. So that's the wood boiler. It's how we heat our house. Maybe at some other point I'll do a full. So right there, the fans just kicked on. Like I was saying, the temperature was probably low enough for the fans to have to kick on. Anyhow, that just kind of shows you the boiler. Maybe at another date can explain how this actually gets heat into the house. But for those of you that are sort of familiar with these kind of systems, I just thought I'd give you a little video here about some of the maintenance and how we use ours. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye now.